you can even watch back. Giving players all the props or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
Playing on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now, got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick podcast, your #1 sports destination.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
S-I-C-K is the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk back. S-I-C-K,
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 S-I-C-K.
All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
S-I-C-K is the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
Playing on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now, got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick podcast, your #1 sports destination.
Giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
S-I-C-K is the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk back. S-I-C-K,
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 S-I-C-K.
S-I-C-K.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. With Tony Marinaro.
55 seconds left in the penalty, a minute and 27 seconds left in regulation time. Boston 4, Montreal 3. Lafleur coming out rather gingerly on the right side. He gives it into Lemaire, back to LaFleur.
The sickest Montreal Canadiens podcast.
You're in the ball!
Sports entertainment like no other.
Rejoint, on lui fait perdre la rondelle, une passe devant. Et c'est le dégagement et ce sera la victoire des Canadiens. Stanley pour les Canadiens, le 23e de l'histoire.
You found the dogs! John, you found the dogs! He found the dogs! And all together, they worked a young team to the top. And now, a 24th Stanley Cup banner will hang from the rafters of the famous Forum in Montreal. The Canadiens win the Stanley Cup.
Brought to you by Energy Transportation Group. Driven to be different. Tibi. Embrace your true nature. And Playground, your premier gaming destination. It's gonna be sick.
Thursday, October 10, Marinaro, the Sick Podcast, Game 2 of the Montreal Canadiens season in the books after a 1-0 win versus the Toronto Maple Leafs last night in the Canadiens' home opener. 2 games in 24 hours, a little bit of travel included. They were in Boston tonight to face on another rival, this time the Boston Bruins. PJ Stock played for both the Boston Bruins and the Montreal Canadiens. He also played for the Rangers and the Philadelphia Flyers. But anyway, considering he played for both organizations, we figured it would be a good idea for him to be on. And I was crossing my fingers that the Montreal Canadiens were going to beat the Boston Bruins, so we wouldn't have to hear PJ talk about how bad and how terrible and how soft the Montreal Canadiens are. But I guess, you know what, tonight is going to be his night. Without further ado, why don't we bring him in? From LDS, former NHLer. There you have it with the Boston Bruins jersey on. Have a fun. Hey, what's going on?
Hey, first off, I'm doing this from my cottage, so I'm up here, Tony. I'm enjoying life, and I got to come on to teach you guys about hockey. This is not even fair. This is.
I have one question before you teach us.
Yes.
Which cottage? Cottage 7 or cottage 13? Which one would that be exactly?
I told you after having to deal with you last time, I was going to have a beverage in hand. So
yes.
First off, I'd like to cheers to you, Tony.
Okay.
Congratulations. I don't really know why I just said that.
Okay.
Congratulations to me because I'm the best dressed one on this show right now. And
yeah,
I guess I don't even want to say they're a young team and I want to make some jokes, but I was a lesson today.
No. Would you mind if I actually join you in a drink tonight? Because after watching Cayden Primeau try to play goal, I don't know what he was doing, I think I need more than one drink. Okay, so hold on a second. Bear with me, okay? I'm gonna go get a drink. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So talk to yourself. I mean, you do that all the time anyway. Hold on a second.
Yeah. I used to do radio with Tony back in the day, and now he's in his basement. So obviously he did it the wrong way, but it's okay. By the way, he's not going to get a drink. He's going to the bathroom. I'll let you know how long he's in there, by the way. This is him having drinks before he gets nervous because I come on, my hair's good. I got this good jersey on. I got a little light lantern behind me, and Tony gets a little nervous. He's like, I don't look good. So he's going to have one of those nervous pees and then come back. So he'll be back in a second to get a drink. His fridge is right beside the studio. I know where it is. Look at it. It's a quick pee. Watch. He didn't even wash his hands. He's just going to sit right down. Do this on his pants.
All right, now we're back. I went to actually grab a couple of drinks. I went to empty my bladder first, actually, before that.
You get nervous. Yeah, no, I know.
Right, so, you know what? It's a good thing that I actually brought it up, PJ, because I want to let you know. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
That the Sick Podcast is brought to you by Bittt Tibi. They launched their new Ultra Lager. It's a refreshing, thirst-quenching beer, perfect for the cool fall days with only 90 calories, 2 grams of carbs, 4% ABV per can, available in a pack of 6 and 12 in grocery stores all around the province of Quebec. It's ultra light and ultra refreshing.
They don't make it to Saint Lazare though, because they still haven't made it to Saint Lazare. I'm still waiting for some, Tony. I'm just waiting. There, this is again. He gets nervous. He gets excited. Oh my God, look at this! I did that. I mentioned them, and now I got to pee again. So, anyways, there he's gonna have one. You should have one, Tony. You deserve one. You've been working hard. I heard you on radio all day.
Yeah,
TV, You're going here. You're on the Sick Podcast here.
There you go. Look at that. Yeah. So I grabbed 2 of those. I grabbed a Bittt Tibi, and also from the Geloso Beverage Group family, I also grabbed the sangria. Now, I think I'm going to mix all of them tonight because Cayden Primeau, he's at the – oh, my God.
I'm going to give you this.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Well, before last night's game, Obviously, I did RDS last night. Sorry, let me say that. Obviously, I did RDS. I did RDS last night, and before the game, you know, I'm with a bunch of guys that work behind the scenes, and you know a bunch of them, Tony. And
Yeah,
they're as well as being on air. Some of them are fans still and really passionate. Of course, it's the team for Quebec, and they're like super excited, and they're like, "It's our year, it's our year!" And they start off with before the game started. I don't know if you saw this yesterday, but they showed the eyes of Montembeault. And he's not a guy by any means, if you ever see him, he's ever going to intimidate you or look super serious or have that stare. But there was a moment the way he was leaning forward, his mask was like this, and it created a little bit of like a shadow on his face. And one of the guys yelled out, "He's got the Maurice Richard eyes," of course, in French. I got, you know, les yeux de Maurice, ça va être notre année. And it was funny because he goes on to have a game that he was brilliant. He was brilliant last night.
Was it
saying his rebounds have to be better. As an ex-player, I can tell you,
stop
the first shot. It's the defense's job to clear out the rebounds. So if we're going to give up shots, his one job is to stop the shot. Yeah, if you guide it to wherever you can, is obviously. But if you're taking a shot off the collarbone, you just stop the puck. And he was brilliant last night. Fast forward to tonight, and you already played it. The first thing I wrote down, Tony. I don't know if you can. I'm a doctor.
Yeah. Let me try. Okay, go ahead. Yeah. Okay,
the first
Primeau.
thing I wrote down early in the game was Primeau not convincing. That's the first thing I wrote down.
Yeah.
And it was his face. And I think it's been something going back to last year, Tony, where the goalies were good, but I didn't think one of my concerns moving into this year for them, I didn't think they can repeat. You get lucky one year, a bunch of rookies, you had 3 goalies. It was crazy. It worked.
Yeah.
Montembeault starts game 1 off. I'm like, maybe this is going to work. And then I think I think this is the biggest question the Canadians have is their goaltending, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think it was answered tonight. It's early. It's game 1. It doesn't really mean enough, but it plays with our heads, and I got to talk to you for an hour.
DJ, it was 2 weeks ago that Pierre LeBrun told Laurent Gonzalez on their radio show that the Montreal Canadiens inquired about Askarov with the Predators, who asked for Jacob Fowler, and the Canadiens said thanks, but no thanks. Now, Askarov was since traded to San Jose, and they since sent him down to the American Hockey League. They didn't want to trade for him to replace Samuel Montembeault. They wanted to trade for him to replace Cayden Primeau. I was for Cayden Primeau playing tonight. I didn't have a problem with that for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's 3 games at 4 nights, and I figured the Canadiens who went with Montembeault in game 1 were going to go with Montembeault in game 3. Number 2, the number 2 usually plays the second game in the 3 or 4. That's usually the way it works. Number 3, I figured, you know what? Cayden Primeau usually plays well in Boston, not versus the Bruins, but of course, seeing as he played in Northeastern for a couple of years, he's familiar. It's kind of like a second home for him. There might be some motivation there, whatever. He played in the Beanpot tournament. He won it, but all that stuff. Cayden Primeau was not good in camp. That's the reality. He was not good in camp. He was always looking behind himself. And my cousin Rick called me and he said, Primeau,
I love when you bring your family into this.
Yeah, thank you. Well, he's not really my cousin because he's married to my cousin. But anyway, he said,
Ricardo?
Yeah,
is it Ricardo?
Yeah, it is. Ricardo, yes. So Ricardo calls me and he goes, Primeau disaster. And I said to him, I said, Rick.
When he calls you, does he, like, how come you're not doing this right now?
Yeah, he called me.
You're not animated, though.
Yeah. No, he calls me on the cell. And I actually put it on speakerphone and I go, yeah. And he says, Primeau disaster. He doesn't say hi to me, right? He says, Primeau disaster. And I said to him, I said, Rick, every time the Bruins shoot the puck, I think they're going to score. And he answers back, Tony, every time the Bruins shoot the puck, Primeau thinks they're going to score. Yeah. It was look, I know the Canadiens didn't play a very good first 2 periods tonight. I know that. I know that they lacked energy, which is a crazy thing to say in game 2 of the season.
I'll tell you why.
Because they were chasing the puck all night last night?
I don't want to say this because it's game. First of all, we're coming out, but
because they're already getting hit because they're small.
No, I'm just saying that the Primeau thing. It's your first game. For a goalie, it's the hardest position to be ready for in the NHL. Forwards make a mistake. Okay, your D are there. Your D make a mistake. It's your goalie. Your goalie's off an inch. It's in the net. That's just the way it is. And they were out in April. So May, June, July, August, September, and we're into October. It's 5 and a bit months that he hasn't been in a game like this. He's nervous. It's his first game.
He looked nervous.
Yeah, he's nervous. He's a kid. I get all that. I'm just saying that
he's a kid. He's just like 24 now.
He's Tony. That's a kid. You have your kid. I know in the old days, they'd be married with 9 kids by now, but it's not. I have a kid. He's 22. He's a kid. These guys are kids, and he's like, listen. I give him the benefit of the doubt because I get nervous when I come on this show, and that's just coming on this show because I know what it's like to be talking to a guy with a brick wall behind him. I get nervous.
Thank you.
But Primeau at the same time.
Not really a brick wall, by the way. It's brick panels.
Tomato.
It's actually cardboard. Go ahead.
He's nervous. It wasn't his best night. But the team did not help him at all. Last night, the team did not help Montembeault either. They gave up. I think I told you the shots were on and off. 93 shot opportunities last night.
Yeah, I know.
93.
Yeah.
And they had 10 minutes of power play. So 93 shots in 50 minutes. And my thing is, they overplayed the same. I know they wanted the first win of the year. I get that.
Yeah.
But on the back-to-back, I get it. But they took all the juice out of that lemon last night. That top line had nothing in the last 2 periods last night. Nothing tonight. That top line had nothing tonight.
He turned 25, by the way, 2 months ago. 2 months tomorrow, he turned 25.
That's
You're still a kid. Okay.
Listen. How many years has he played pro fully, like NHL?
A couple of years, but I want to tell you this right now. Okay.
How many years has he been an NHLer?
Well, he played his first couple of games in 1920, but he never played more. Like he's played 45, 46 games over the last 5 years. Yeah. 45 games, like over the last 5 years. But I'm going to tell you something.
Tony? Last year, the one guy that got hurt in everything was Primeau. The 3 goalie idea was a bad idea for Primeau. Yes, he had some good games at the end of the year, but you know what? All the Canadians did. You know why?
Yeah.
There was no pressure. The season was done. If they all the guys, the offensive guys got all their points at the end of the year.
You still have that pad? You still have that pad in front of you? That notepad. You still have it?
Yeah.
Okay, I want you to write something. You ready?
No. Do you want me to go over my pad?
No. We will. I want you to write this. OCT for October, by the way. OCT for October.
Hold on.
Yeah. Yeah.
OCT stands for October.
Yeah, space 10 for the date, October 10th.
Yeah.
Space 2024 for the year.
Okay.
That's the night Tony Marinaro officially gave up on Cayden Primeau.
You can't give up on Cayden Primeau, Tony.
I've given up.
Day one. For every reason I just told you.
It's tier 5.
I have a question then. Are you giving up on Slavkovsky?
No.
Are you giving up on Suzuki?
No.
Are you giving up on Goulet?
Hey, Cayden Goulet has shown me that he's the number 2 defenseman on the Montreal Canadiens. Juraj Slavkovsky showed me that at age 19, he scored 20 goals, 30 assists, and 50 points. Nick Suzuki showed me that at age 24, he picked up 33 goals, 44 assists, and 77 points. Cayden Primeau has shown me nothing. He plays 2 good games when he plays versus his father's former team, the Philadelphia Flyers. It's enough now. The same defense that plays in front of Cayden Goulet plays in front of Cayden Primeau plays in front of Samuel Montembeault.
They gave up 93 shots last night. 93. And listen, he made some great saves last night. Tonight, he didn't get a ton of help.
To a lot better offensive players, Toronto, than Boston, by the way.
I think Boston had better opportunities tonight. I really do. I really like. And also, tonight, because they were overtired, which is, I don't understand what happens anymore. They got goals, goals 2 and 4. It's their end zone running around again. They're chasing
big time, man.
Chasing. And you don't, on a second night, all you have to do for soccer fans, and Tony, I don't know if you guys have an Italian term for this, but we called it a dummy run. Like, so a dummy run in soccer, right? If Tony's the defender covering me, I'm going to just run away from where to create space for someone to run into it. It's the same thing in hockey. Like you do a cycle, and if you're not in, you come all the way to the top of the blue line almost to create a space for a D-man to drive in there or to create space inside that box. So, Tony, I don't know if you guys have an actual soccer word.
I don't think so, to tell you the truth.
What's that?
I don't think so, to tell you the truth.
So
but I know exactly what you're saying, though.
In hockey, like I'm like, just go for a skate. Go for a skate away from me. Like when I was cycling down low, and we can hold a lot more back then. And I'd have the puck between my feet, and my line mate would come in to help me. I'd say, "Get out of here! Like get out!" Because now there's two guys poking at me. I want him out of here so I can go left or right. And that defenseman now wants to hold me on one side. So if he puts his hand on my right hip, I'm going left. So I know, but if the other defenseman's there, I have no space. So tonight, the goal, it was a one-timer in the slot. I want to say Pasternak's.
It was Pasternak, yes.
But there was a man on him, but then the man thought he had to go here, then the man had to go there, and just they get so nervous about who they have to cover and where's my guy, and it just instead of being on basketball on the inside of the guy,
they
feel like they got to chase the guy, and against a team that cycles, and a team that's faster than them, they get caught.
We're going to bring up the starting lineup for both teams in a second. Brought to you by Energy Transportation Group, a leading full-service logistics provider serving all of North America, driven to be different. They'll bring you the Montreal Canadiens lineup. Let's bring it up. The Canadiens tonight. Suzuki was in between Slavkovsky and Caulfield. Doc was in between Armia and Newhook. Evans was in between Gallagher and Anderson. Dvorak was with Kapanen and Barre-Boulet. On defense, Matheson, Gouli, Hutson, Savard, Jacki, Barron, and Primeau. Okay, we talked about Cayden Primeau. I want to talk about Mike Matheson. I thought Mike Matheson was not good tonight. And he played way too much last year in what was a lost season. There's no reason when you have the 5th worst record in the National Hockey League to play your number one defenseman as much as you do. If you're trying to make the playoffs and you want to play your number one defenseman a lot, I'll tell you, I understand. If you're a bottom 5 team and you're playing your defenseman that much, I don't understand. And tonight, PJ, I don't get it either. Like, why is Mike Matheson always on the ice?
26 minutes, 8 seconds he played tonight. In game number 2 of a back-to-back. I'm not saying anyone's right, anyone's wrong. We're easy to armchair coach tonight or talk about it, but there is you're going to lose that game tonight. You want to get experience in games for players. The Bruins are smallest defenseman is 6'1". It's Charlie McAvoy. They have 6 defensemen. I think the biggest is 6'6", and the smallest.
Zadorov is 6'6". Then they have a couple of 6'5".
They got 6'5". They got a big top, but it's a moment for the Canadiens to give other players opportunities, and I think they didn't do enough of that last year. Like when they were in those useless games I called garbage time, the second half of the season, Matheson and Suzuki should not have been killing penalties. They just shouldn't have been killing penalties. It should have been Jacki. It should have been Struble. It doesn't have to be Savard either. You know, it's just you got to get those reps. You got to get that confidence. So you know what? I'll use Primeau. If he was in those games where he's dealt with the highs and lows besides those games, he's never been in like a real pressure game, I felt, at this level.
Yeah.
You don't know how to deal with it. So when you give up a goal or you miss a play in like a pressure cooker game, it's way different than when you give it up in a game where no one says anything because who cares because the season's done. So tonight's a night where –
tough night for Arbor Jacki, too, by the way, who played 10 minutes and 51 seconds, was a -3 tonight.
Yeah, I don't think it was I'm not saying it was a tough night for them. He played 10 minutes. You're telling me Matheson deserved 26?
No, he definitely did not deserve 26.
Why are you playing guys 10 minutes in game 2 of the season in a game you're going to lose on a back-to-back?
Tonight's performance was pretty embarrassing, to tell you the truth. I know it's close on the score sheet because it's 2 goals. Brendan Gallagher was their best player. Brendan Gallagher was their best player tonight.
Not even close. And not only that, it was funny. I was a guy that scored 5 whopping goals in about 7 years. I can't really say anything. But Thinking of last night, Oliver Ekman-Larsson had an opportunity coming out of the penalty box.
Yeah.
Which I want to talk about their power play after Tony for a second. But he comes out of the penalty box, and you're almost nervous because you're on a breakaway. And he's never really been on a breakaway.
Of course, yeah.
Defenseman. And he almost peels to the corner and almost takes like a warm-up shot. Like he could have went and tried something, but he kind of fell away and shot away. It's just the one guy you probably didn't want in that moment. Brendan Gallagher got, I think, two tonight, right?
Yeah, 2 goals tonight.
2. I think he might have had another 10 opportunities that if it was somebody else, he could have had 4. Like he was all over the spaces. And you know what he was?
His second shot was fantastic, by the way. And on the first one, you see where he goes? He's within 1 foot of the goal.
Yes. But that's the thing. It's like the Brandon Gallagher thing is he can't last more than 25 seconds. I'm making no jokes, Tony. There's no jokes about 25 seconds there. But there's like I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah,
he can't go longer than 25 seconds, and he's making 6.5. But he's consistent. He's consistent. Are you spritzing up?
Yeah, getting hot in here.
It's.
I really don't know if it's just the heat or my sugar levels, but it's not good.
Okay.
But anyway,
but he's consistent, and it's not always what you want. But unfortunately, for a team that struggles, he is what he is.
He's got heart, man. He's got heart. He makes up with it hard.
He's consistent. Heart. He's consistently out of breath after 25 seconds. That's probably 3 of us. But at the same time, he's going to the net. He's driving the net. He's a pain in the ass. He tips. He deflects pucks. He's out of breath and changes. But again, he gets rewarded because he plays the right way sometimes. And plays the right way all the time.
Yeah.
And sometimes things don't go his way. And then we look at, my God, this guy's making $6.5 million. But tonight's one of those nights where I'm happy to see him do well.
The Boston Bruins lineup is brought to you by Playground. Looking for the ultimate entertainment experience? Playground has it all. Gaming, poker, fine dining, live music, DJs, all with unmatched customer service. Why go anywhere else? Just minutes from downtown Montreal, across the Mercier Bridge. Playground, your top destination for fun. Let's bring up the Boston Bruins lineup. All right, okay. Lindholm, I got him in my pool. Thank you very much. Zach, I got him too, by the way. With Pasternak, mind you, Zach missed an open net like with 4 or 5 minutes left in the game. Coyle in between Geeky and Marchand. Frederick with Tuft and Brazeau. Kashlik with Kopke and Betcher, and on defense, Zadorov and McAvoy, Lindholm and Carlo, Witherspoon and Peak. And Jeremy Swayman was in goal for his first game of the season with Korpisalo backing him up. All right, let's go to the game sheet if we can. It was a first period that had like a ton of goals. Gallagher, Lane Hutson to Armia. Armia, a pass to Gallagher like just in front on the power play within a foot of the goal. That's what we're talking about. And he puts the Canadiens up by a score of 1-0. Charlie McAvoy takes a wrist shot on the power play.
Break down every goal, Tony. They can read it, or they watch the game.
Some of them didn't watch the game
right now. There's everyone.
Yeah,
there's score sheet. Go back, watch the highlights.
No, but hold on a second. People are listening to this on Spotify and Google and Apple Podcasts and stuff like that.
Right now?
Okay, I won't get into it too much.
Guys, nice pass from Hutson.
Yeah,
got one as well. It's great. So did Lindholm. Okay, let's go.
Yeah, Cole Caulfield, by the way, has pretty much like an empty net, and boom, is able to jam it in. Kastelic scores, Lindholm scores, and period number 1, the Boston Bruins are up by a score of 3-2. On to period number 2.
Oh, good. Okay.
Pasternak and Kepke put the Bruins up by a score of 5-2. And in period number 3, Cayden Primeau and Brendan Gallagher narrow that lead to 5-4. And then Kastelic throws it in front. You can get off the phone now. Listen to me. Get off the phone. I'm going to call you. Hold on a second.
10 goals.
Hold on a second. I'm going to call you.
He's going over all of them. I guess he has to tell all the people.
No, I finished now, but I'm going to call you if you don't hear me. Hold on.
Goes, hey, this guy passed it to that guy. He passed it to this guy. Anyways, I'll call you when I'm done. Yeah, okay. He's spritzing his hair again. All right. Love you, Ma. Bye. Okay. She says you're great. I'm not answering. That's not my number. You know you don't have my number. You don't have my number.
I have your number.
No, you don't.
You put on Do Not Disturb. Tell me the truth.
No, I don't. He's like that fake.
I'm going to give everyone your number, right?
My name right.
I'm going to give everyone your number. Okay, perfect. You want PJ's number? Here we go.
Take it.
Say 1010, say 2.
Say 2. 1, 2, 3.
But did you see Kastelic's goal? Like Cayden Primeau, had he not done enough damage tonight, when the Canadiens clawed their way back into the game to narrow the lead to 5-4, Kastelik throws it in front. It goes off of Primeau's stick and in. Like he just like
tough night. So let's do this. We agree.
Yeah, okay. Look, I want to give him a break too, but man, could you imagine how the guys in that locker room feel? They can't have confidence in him.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
You know he's a question mark. Deal?
Yeah.
How about you? Okay, I'm gonna give you
We also know that if he wasn't gonna go on waivers, Dobish was gonna beat him out.
Well, Dobish had a great camp. It's game one. Listen, game one. Calm down. This is what I want to talk about.
Yeah.
Habs power play the last 3 years is finished, and not this particular order, but these three numbers: 27th, 29th, and 31st in the league.
Correct.
They're doing
27th last year, 31 the year before, 29 the year before that. Yeah.
Last year, their PK finished 31st in the league.
Yeah.
Okay. That's not the personnel. You blaming it. You can say you don't have guys that can score. There's no reason why your penalty killing is 31st in the league.
I asked Kent Hughes about a month ago. I said, let's just say you guys make the playoffs. To make the playoffs, out of all the things that can happen, name me one. He said our penalty kill and our power play have to total more than 100.
100. So the way you want to do it, Tony, is in 105 is the number you want. So you want your power play to be at ideally over 20%, ideally around 25%, or combined. Your penalty killing at 80, 82 is a great number, and your power play at like 22, 23. And that would bring you to 105. 105 is like a magical number. That's how you want to add those up. So he's saying whatever he said, 80, but combined,
he said combined. You got to be at least combined 100.
100, yeah.
Yeah.
We settled. We had to be 105. That's what we had to work, and that's what you got to work on. And you know what? It's.
Well, you were which team? The Bruins?
Almost every team I played on.
The goal was 105.
Well, actually, sorry, Bruins and Rangers.
Okay.
And it was a different time, but killing penalties were killing penalties. I'm watching last night. As much as I don't want Nick Suzuki killing penalties, there was Mitch Marner and Austin Matthews killing penalties last night. Like, I don't know what you're thinking or that early. And Craig Berube is a buddy of mine, but the last thing you want to do is have Mitch Marner take a shot off the ankle, and he kills penalties all the time. But you talk about minutes that are hard minutes, and you don't really need to be the most versatile guy. You need to be tough and smart and committed to the system.
Yeah.
That's teaching, and that's convincing someone to do it. Not too often in the history of teams that have success, it's the offensive guy that's out there on the ice. That might be why the Canadiens PK is at 31%. Like, Gretz didn't kill a ton of penalties when I played with them. We had other guys that went out there, block shots. Gretz would serve a bench minor. So come out of the box. He'd be the next shift. Power play, Gretz would stay out there for 3 minutes. You know, like those are the things. That's where we lose Nick Suzuki in games, because he's stopping and starting and having to block shots. And that's what happened, I thought, in yesterday's game. We went to the well too early, and then, which is crazy how they look slower tonight. But I guess it's trying to find that rhythm of getting back to being, 4 or 5 months off. Game one, traveled, warm up. It wasn't a great game. You knew Boston was going to be great better. Sorry, great's a strong word. They would be better because they did not do well against Florida, and it was their home opener. There was a lot of that stuff that went into it. But I'm a little looking at the Bruins power play and the Canadiens power play, and Kent mentioning that.
Yeah.
This is, you got to work on your 5-on-5 play. I would do this. I would work on my power play, my D zone play, power play, penalty killing, and my D zone play. And I wouldn't care about the rest. That's every practice I have. The players are so talented and work together. Like Glenn Murray and Glenn Murray, Mike Knuble, and Joe Thornton played together as a line. Our practices were done. Okay. They were the best line I saw during that time that I played with. Obviously Fedorov, Yzerman, but we were number one in the East. And Joe got 40, Noobs got 30, Joe got 30. Like, they weren't bad. Of course, Jose Theodore stood on his head in the playoffs and beat us, but that's another thing. It's like, let me take a sip because of that. But,
Listen, I'm going to tell you something because you talked about the penalty kill. They gave Josh Anderson that assignment this year.
Yeah.
And at one point, he kind of had this speed where he was like, he showed like speed taking off down the wing. He actually hit a goalpost. He could have scored a big goal for the Canadiens. They're trying to give him some responsibility. He actually looked pretty good on the penalty kill. Josh Anderson.
2 games good. But I'm saying back to the one, sorry, it's a long thought.
Yeah.
They have to, there's so much, the coach can only coach so much. You have to be committed to the cause as well. And there's a lot that has to go on that those three have to do together, or whichever it is, to work on things. Coach can only coach so much. The rest of it is chemistry and working on stuff and stuff when the coach isn't around. And they're young, but like you said, Tony, they're not that young now. They're 3, 4, 5 years into the league for some of them. They have to start getting better.
I know this is going to sound weird after the stats that you just said. Call me stupid. I've been called worse.
Stupid.
I really believe, and look, I don't want to be just because everyone's doing it, be one of those guys that says going to say but Lane Hutson has to be on the first wave of the power play. And I really believe that out of all the three things that you talked about, even though the power play statistically has been terrible the last, I don't know how many years, I'm actually less concerned about the power play than I am about the D-zone coverage. Yep. The D-zone coverage, they look like they're a team that's never practiced D-zone coverage ever. Like they look like they have no idea. Like Marty talks about his offensive concepts. Offensively, they know where to go and they know how to get open and they know how to create plays. But defensively, they look like they have no clue.
Yeah, they look nervous.
They look disjointed. They look disjointed.
They look nervous. You know why they look nervous? Because they're a bunch of young guys in positions that, they know, that they can't afford to give up goals, and it's nervous. It's part of the growth of being a professional athlete. I personally don't love the system they're playing. Every team has a different system. It's kind of a hybrid man and man is what they're calling it.
Yeah.
But I would just try changing it up. It's not working. Like it's not like the goaltenders, like I mentioned this last week, analytically were great last year.
Yeah.
I didn't know if they can do it again. Obviously Montembeault did in game 1 and Primeau struggled tonight, but
yeah,
they gave up a lot of pretty good shots tonight. Like they did. They did. And the goalie's got to make. It's the same thing in Boston. Boston made up a lot of mistakes last year, but Swayman and Ullmark were there to save them.
Yeah.
You got to simply, when you're a team that doesn't score like Boston can, when you're a team that can't score like Edmonton, Colorado, almost every other team in the league, you got to simplify your defense until it works. And I don't think they have. And you're saying it, and I say it. That's why I said, Tony, 3 things: as power play, penalty killing, in zone coverage. All the players are so talented nowadays. Let them do whatever they want in the offensive zone, because if they lose the puck, it doesn't matter. They're coming back in our zone, and we all know what to do. It's the D zone that has just been running around, and yeah, it's been if I had one thing, I tweeted this tonight, I'd say, just look at the Bruins power play. Like, really, what are their threats? Marchand has a good shot. He's just a great pro. He's a great pro.
Well, their threat is David Pastrnak. That's their threat.
Pasternak's a threat. McAvoy's a threat, but you're not overly scared by anybody else on the ice besides Pastrnak.
McAvoy's got great wrist shots, and they usually do a pretty good job of deflecting some of the shots that he has on net.
But they move the puck.
Yeah.
So quick. Their bumper is so important. Their bumper is there just to give the guy with the puck a second. And that's so important. The Canadiens are too slow with the puck. And I'm like, I actually think Toronto's PP, funny enough, which was like 5th or 7th last year in the league.
Yeah.
I find they can move it way quicker too, but they just have some of the most talented offensive guys in the league. But the Canadiens don't. So you have to get that box moving a little bit.
Yeah.
They don't enough. They're too standing still. And Suzuki's good, but you saw it tonight. His wrist shots, he's not going to beat Swayman from the slot unless it's a brilliant shot. Caulfield needs, good. There's not a ton of weapons. Move the puck. Make the box move. Make the goalie move.
Suzuki doesn't, and it's still early on, but he doesn't look quite yet nimble. He looks like a little bit sluggish to me. But anyway, I mean, you know, you and I have talked about this over the years. Like one thing hasn't changed really with the Canadiens is that when you and I used to work together, they used to have a lot of small bodies. And I know that they've been trying to get bigger by drafting Slafkovsky and trading for Kirby Dach. But the fact of the matter is 5'11" Suzuki and 5'11" Newhook and 5'9" Gallagher and 5'7" Caulfield and 5'9" Hutson and Raphael Harvey-Pinard's not in the lineup yet, but he's 5'9". He's out with an injury. They're supposed to get off to a really good start. 5'10" Barre Boulet, by the way.
Fast, you mean?
They should be fast. They should be fast out of the gates, and their first 10 games should be good. And this one, they should be taking advantage. And right now, let's face it. I mean, we had a lot of fun last night because they won, even though everyone knows they got outplayed big time. And they got outplayed again tonight, and they didn't look good. But, I mean, let's take a look at the bright side at least. Lane Hutson again.
Yeah.
He got clocked once or twice when you have the puck as much as.
Oh, I knew. He's going to have to learn to get rid of it a little. Like, you know where he has to learn to get rid of it? When he's skating up the board. So, like, as a defenseman gets the puck and he's skating up the left side and you're trying to gain that line or you're trying to make a play, just flip it out and save it. Because if I'm playing against Lane Hutson and I'm 5'10", 200 pounds, I'm hitting him every time I can. And you know what? I'm the smallest guy in every team that I played for, but I'd be squishing this kid every second. Imagine guys that are, you know, the Bruins don't have a guy under 6'1". Imagine those guys hitting him 3-4 times, you know, or like
he still played 22 and a half minutes, though. And he still played at a high level, and he didn't die down.
Tony, it's game 2.
Yeah, I hear you.
It's game 2. It's like there's 82 of these, and not only 82, hopefully for Habs fans, because I love this guy. Hopefully there's 82 times 10. That's the goal. So, like, he doesn't have to gain the red line all the time. Instead of, like, dumping it straight, he can cross corner off a wall towards the hash mark dump, so it's not icing. So he doesn't get run. You know, there's times where you don't have to make a hit. He's got to learn to, like, hit the guy's hands instead of bumping into his shoulder. It all comes with time. Whereas the point that you're making, the younger guys or smaller guys should have looked quicker. The bigger guys don't look physical. And that's more concerning to me. You talked about all the bigger guys they got. Now, you mentioned the small guys. I
love where you're going here because, you know, when you made your notes, I made a note. They don't have an energy line. They don't have a line that goes out and finishes their checks and delivers a big hit to change the momentum of a hockey game. It's like they have just a poor man's line. They don't have an identity. Their fourth line doesn't have an identity.
Tony, their entire team doesn't have an identity. That's my concern. They're like power plays.
They're a skilled offensive team.
Tony, their power plays finished 29th, 27th, and 31st.
Yeah.
So their offense is where? Coming from where?
It comes from their first line.
Okay, when did they get their goals last year?
They got their goals, a lot of them in the second half of the season.
When they were eliminated. Okay.
I understand that.
I'm just saying, because the Montreal media says that's what they are. They finished 15th out of 16 teams.
They want to play a possession game, but they're not there yet. They don't have a mix of experienced players and younger players, and they don't have depth.
No, that's what Marty wants to play. They are not a possession team. You can't, like, I can't have remember the old Nintendo hockey game? People that are listening right now, you might not. Tony and I are a little age. Tony's way. Is that a perm? Do you have a perm?
No, this is natural, actually. I bet this is. You're the second person who asked me in the last 24 hours if my hair is natural. It's natural. Very natural.
It looks fantastic.
Thank you.
But remember, we used to have, like, it was called NHL hockey, and there was a little skinny guy that could skate but couldn't shoot the puck.
That was not me.
You had a medium guy that could kind of do everything. He wasn't as fast as the skinny guy, and there was 3 guys on the ice you can take. And then you had, but he didn't have a shot like the last guy. The last guy was pretty much a thicker guy who had an amazing slap shot but couldn't skate. So it was 3-on-3 hockey, and I think it was called NHL. It could have been on Atari. I forget what it was. I'm dating myself a little.
Okay.
Hence the wood paneling behind me. But if you have 3 of the bigger guys and they can't skate but they can shoot, you can't expect them to make fast plays like the fast 3 skinny guys that you had.
I hear you.
And that's kind of Marty has a vision because Marty played a certain way. And he unfortunately, his passion and what made him very successful. I grew up playing against Marty and Adam Peavy, Bantam Midget, Junior. I was in Pembroke, he was in Hawkesbury.
Yeah.
I went Major Junior, he went to Vermont. I played Hartford, he was in St. John's. I played Le Pro, and he went on to the Hall of Fame. It kind of was going the same way until he decided to go to a whole new stratosphere of hockey.
Yeah.
My point is, it was his compete and offensive skills. I mean, I think he's one of the oldest guys to ever lead the NHL in scoring. He had that skill set, and he thought that way. He doesn't have those guys. Anderson, Barry
That's
Boulet,
the bigger. I find that's the biggest adjustment for him.
Dvorak, Evans, Gallagher, Goulet. I'll throw Newhook in there. Savard. Slavkovsky's not a possession skate with the puck guy. And Jack guy. I just named 75% of the guys on the ice. They're not puck possession guys. They're put the puck in it. Like, if they are, they're tap, 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 tap. Doc can skate with it. Matheson can skate with it. Why we all love Hutson. Hutson can control it. These other guys can't. They got to move it and move their feet. The puck almost slows them down when they have it. But Marty's vision is that, and I until it all comes into fruition,
Yeah.
I don't think that's the success that the team's going to have with this system.
I want to comment on Marty. Not before I talk to you about Souflaki Authentique, PJ, of course. Family operated Greek restaurant, 7 locations.
I love that place.
Opa! Lachine, Boisbriand, Pierrefonds. They use fresh Quebec chicken, fresh Quebec pork, both hand cut, marinated in-house. Their gyros hand stacked in-house, never frozen, PJ. No MSG in any of the recipes. Greek potatoes, not your Yaya's Greek potatoes. You'll love these. They have a unique lemon sauce. I can tell you this.
There's one in Vaudreuil.
Yes, there's one in Pierrefonds. There's one in Lachine.
I don't know why they don't. I like some potatoes. The potatoes are the best.
Yeah. Whenever you want to go, they like me there.
Listen. I know. I'm waiting for that. Your BTB there.
Yeah. I sent them their address. They deliver at the end of the week.
Let me guess. Your paisan.
But are you going to be home because you're at the cottage now? You're not going to be in St. Lazare.
Because I had to do this. I wanted the old school wood paneling.
Yeah, mind you. I'm sure if they deliver, like one of the 7 maids will be there to pick it up. Now listen to me. That's the one thing I find about Marty. You just talked about his Hall of Fame career. I don't even know if what I'm going to say is true. It's whatever. Sometimes I look at him and I see some frustration, and he's basically got his shoulder up against the glass.
Yep.
And he's kind of like the body language when all the other coaches are standing up straight. His body language is almost like, oh man, it's going to be a long night at the office type of thing, right? He's just like nudging on the glass. And I get the feeling, and some great coaches, they've had this challenge that they watch the game and they kind of, and I don't know if this is true or not, once again, but they kind of get frustrated that some of the players can't do some of the things that for them were easy.
Yes. Well, greatest example, greatest player in the history of the world, one of my favorite people ever is Wayne Gretzky. Wayne wasn't the most. Did
he call you when he was in town for the President's Cup, by the way?
He did.
He did?
Yes.
Did you go with him for a beer?
I had to do the Sick podcast.
Stop. Did he call you?
No, I'm busy.
Did he call you? Yes, sir. I need to meet Wayne Gretzky before I die. Did he call you? Yes or no?
Yeah. Wayne was like, Stalker, listen, I'm on TNT right now. How do I deal with Biz?
Yeah, I got it.
The same way I deal with Marinaro. Just arm's length.
Yeah. You should
don't give him your phone number.
You should have told him, have 22 drinks to match Biz. All right, okay, listen. I thought that was funny.
It wasn't, Tony, there's no, you got to add in laughter.
I don't know.
We don't have that. We don't have a live audience right now.
I don't know if what I said.
45 at night. Like, I'm having some tequila right now.
Now, I don't know.
I'm missing football.
Yeah.
Habs lost. My Bruins won. You know what? How about this? I wish the Canadiens were more physical tonight. At the end of the day, I'm not excited how they're the second youngest team in the league. Second. They're the 5th biggest team in the league.
I think they're the youngest team in the league. I think they're second because of Carey Price is on the LTIR, but I think they're actually I think they're the youngest.
They're second.
Okay, whatever. Maybe. San Francisco's up on Seattle, by the way, by 6 points, if you want to know. 23-17. Thursday Night Football.
Only 6?
Yeah.
I have them by 3.5, Tony. I have them by 3.5.
What I said, does it make sense to you? Like, do you find that Marty sometimes is watching as like, man,
I don't really.
I don't know.
It's a long game. I don't think he ever gets caught in the highs and lows. I think he's done an amazing job of speaking to people and controlling his emotions. I really do. I really don't. How about this? I don't think the media's ever tested him. I don't think he's ever like. Who do you think?
They're giving him the benefit of the doubt based on the respect they have for him in his career.
Like after every game, he's up there explaining everything. I think he got probably one of the loudest ovations during the game. Sorry, during the introduction, besides Line.
They love him.
Our coach and our guy that hasn't played a shift yet got the 2 biggest ovations. So kind of tells you where we're at a little bit right now.
Wow. You're really bringing it tonight, let me tell you.
I'm just telling you. Like, isn't it? Like, it's kind of like.
Put $1 on Lane Hutson for the Calder. Betway, leading global online betting and gaming brand. Follow your gut instinct. Go with Betway. Go on Betway.com or scan the QR code to join the action. Must be 18 years old and over and play responsibly. Is he a candidate for the Calder? He's that good, PJ. He's that good.
I really like him. Unfortunately, he doesn't have. Well, sorry, Tony, the Russian in Philadelphia.
Mishkov.
Thank you. He's the same idea. I don't think he has the tools around him. So he could be great, but a lot of times, a lot of people that don't watch, like tonight, I don't want people to know, but I'm at my cottage. I have a TV where I'm watching the hockey game, commercial, I flip on the football game. At home, I have a couple TVs so I can have an opportunity to watch a couple of the hockey games. And tonight I didn't. So I know they're playing tonight, and there's a bunch of other games going on tonight, but I can tell you, this is my problem with how a lot of awards are given out. I'm doing this with you, and I watch things, but the media for the Montreal Canadiens, the beat writers, they don't watch other games. They like, when do they have time? The game ends, they go in the locker room, they got to get their story done. Like, when are they watching Philly play? When are they? And then at the end of the year, how many times have they actually watched them play all year to judge, Hutson?
But they don't really have to. They're watching the team that they're covering.
I know that. But how do you rate? If you have a vote for the Calder, how do you have a vote for the Calder and you haven't seen any other guys play?
Yeah, I understand that.
All of them, it's all the same thing.
Yeah, they usually take a look at the points at the end there, and that's it. Listen, I asked you for 45 minutes, and you gave me 45 minutes. And you know what? I'm going to make you get
48.
Really?
48, and I'm done.
Okay.
I'm done.
I'm going to get you to the football game now. You can watch a football game. Thank you very much. What's your final statement here for tonight? Your final thought? The Montreal Canadiens, 2 games in. What do you see?
Concerned about the amount of shots they gave up against Toronto. Love the fact that a lot of things happened in game 1. Doc gets a point. Caulfield gets a goal. Montembeault gets a shutout. Team gets a win against a division rival. Everything that I thought last night, that it was perfect. Marty, the coach, gets a win. Everything is great. They want to be in the mix. Big win last night. Everything about last night was kind of removed a little bit from the way they played tonight. Nothing against Primeau again, but it's questions, because I had questions going in. The team lacked a lot of oomph, and they're the second youngest team in the league. Last year, they were 1-11-1, I think, on back-to-backs. Zero excuse when you're all 22 years old. So that's part of the issue. And I think one of my concerns is the top line was almost non-existent tonight.
Yeah.
And that's a concern. So do you maybe split up your top line and make 2 top lines and maybe give Doc one of your players? Because Slavkovsky hasn't done a ton in the first couple games. Yes, Caulfield's got 2 goals, but they've both been recipients of great passes, one from Slavkovsky and one from Hutson. So listen, this is what they are. We knew this is what they were going to be. Habs fans go crazy. It's 2 games in. They're 500. Be happy. I'm just hoping every day they get one little bit better.
Canadiens will host the Ottawa Senators on Saturday night in Montreal. Ottawa beat the Florida Panthers tonight by a score of 3-1. Canadiens play them once again on Saturday. We'll talk to you soon.
Tony, quickly.
Yeah.
That might be my sneaky pick. Ottawa. Norris is healthy. Pinto is not suspended. They got a goalie in Allmark.
That's a big win versus a big team tonight. That's a big win versus a big team.
That was my sneaky pick going into last year, and then a lot of things happened. They're like my Winnipeg Jets of the West. They're my team in the East. I think this year they can make a splash.
All right, you heard it here first. PJ Stock picks the Montreal Canadiens to make the playoffs. Have a good night, PJ. Cha-cha. All right, okay. He did not say that. He likes the Ottawa Senators to surprise this year in the East. Marinaro, we're going to end up taking some of your questions, not before I talk to you about Poll Montreal, P-E-A-U, Montreal.com is their website, and I want you to jot it down. They have they have two locations. They have one in Montreal. They have one in the West Island. And there's a bunch of treatments that you can get there, from injections, fillers, body contouring, facial treatments, laser services. And they have the latest cosmetic technologies for that. They also have a latest technology for hair growth. And it's called the TED technology. And it uses ultrasounds, and it's all natural. And it's not invasive whatsoever. Yeah, they also offer PRP, which is invasive. But TEDx is truly a state-of-the-art technology, and it's got like a 98% success rate for like ideal candidates. So if you're on Instagram, bookmark or follow at Poll Montreal, or check out pollmontreal.com. Jot down this number. You can call them tomorrow if you're watching now live, or if you're watching tomorrow during the day, well, then you can call them right away once you're watching this at 514-989-7328. All right, let's take a couple of questions. All right, Aaron St. Pierre. Notice how the Habs never cleared the front of the net all game. That's not good. Not good. And you know what? One guy who has a really hard time clearing the front of the net is Justin Barron. Like, the second the game gets physical, it's difficult for him. Very, very difficult. Next. They're going to be much better when Struble gets back in the lineup. Damien says Tuck, Evans, Pizzetta would be a great fourth line against a team like the Bruins. Yeah, well, one day, I think the fourth line is going to end up being Tuck with Florian Jacki and maybe Owen Beck. We'll see, maybe. Or it might be somebody else. Next. Damien again. Why do you think Matheson takes those desperate point shots all the time? Because he goes by the whole adage of just get the pucks on net and good things can happen, I guess. Next. Richard says, time to bring up Dobesh. They're not going to bring him up because it's the same thing that's going to happen all over again. They have a feeling that Cayden Primeau is going to get picked up on waivers, and that's why they didn't send him down last year. Or else they would have sent him down by now. Dobesh was better than Primeau in camp. He looked so much more sure of himself. He looked so much more solid. He looked so much better. He looked better. You know, he just looked better. Anyway, you know what? I think we've covered it. Let me just see if I forgot anybody here tonight. Oliver Kapanen, good for him. His first NHL point, gets an assist. Kirby Dach looked real good in the first half of the game, slowed down a little bit after that. It was interesting that Newhook was taking a lot of the faceoffs. The Canadiens, by the way, defensive zone faceoffs, because tonight the faceoffs were 50-50. But they showed a stat at one point on defensive zone faceoffs. They were really struggling, especially Dvorak. Cayden Gooley, I really liked tonight. Really liked Cayden Gooley. 21 minutes and 23 seconds. 2 assists in the hockey game for Cayden Gooley. A +3. Really liked Gooley. Really liked Gooley. Armia, 2 assists in the hockey game. Did they end up giving the goal to Josh Anderson? I think they gave the goal to Josh Anderson tonight. Caulfield had a goal. Brendan Gallagher had 2 goals. Brendan Gallagher looked amazing, by the way. He looked like he was 5 years younger tonight. So much heart. So much heart. But other than that, it was a tough night for the Canadiens, who were just chasing all night. And just unfortunately, they didn't get the goaltending. They didn't have the energy. That's what's very concerning. They didn't have the energy in the second game of the season. They didn't have the energy in the second game of the season. That's pretty crazy. That's pretty crazy. The goal is Anderson's. You know, you take a look at the D-men in the Canadiens division. You saw it tonight with Boston. 1-6-6. The other one's 6-5. Or a couple of them are 6-5. 1-6-4. A couple are 1-6-3. A couple are 6-1. It's a big D. Justin Barron has an opportunity here in the last 2 games because Jaden Strubal's out with an injury. It's up to him to make the most of it, and he's got an advantage because he's a right-handed defenseman. But right now, I watch him play, and I don't know what he is. He's not fish. He's not pasta. He's not meat. I'm trying to figure out what he is. And anyway, curious to see the energy the Canadiens are going to have or are not going to have on Saturday night versus the Ottawa Senators. Because tonight, they look like they hit a wall for the most part. The energy was low. Game 2 of the season. Somebody wants me to spray my hair again one more time before we go. Let me just do it. Here we go. I'm going to spray my face too, try and wake myself up. Man, that was tough. It really was tough to watch tonight. It really was tough. Anyway, at least they beat the Toronto Maple Leafs. After all, I think Canadiens fans have, over the last couple of years, have come to hate the Leafs more than they actually hate the Bruins. They used to hate the Bruins a lot more, like many, many years ago. And now I think they hate the Leafs a lot more than the Bruins. So at least there's that. I mean, at least that's the good news. All right, okay. So once again, special thanks to all of our sponsors, to Energy Transportation Group, to Bittt, to Tibi, to Playground, to Souvlaki Authentique, and to Betway. And thanks to all of you for watching for a second night in a row. The Sick Podcast, weeknights at 10 p.m. We'll be back tomorrow night, same time, same place. Thanks for watching. Leave us a 5-star review on Apple. It's our way of feeling the love. For Shane Gomez and Master Control, the Bruins beat the Montreal Canadiens by a score of 6-4. I'm Marinaro.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast with Tony Marinaro on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts. The Sick Podcast is brought to you by Energy Transportation Group, driven to be different. LaVie.tv, embrace your true nature. And Playground, your premier gaming destination.